Today I got you guys with 5 different insane meta weapons here in Black Ops 6 that will have you beaming everyone with ease. Alright, today here, ladies and gentlemen, we are going over 5 different class setups in Black Ops 6 that are absolutely insane. Starting out with the Model L for the first weapon, we're going to get straight into it. These are all some of my favorite classes to use in the game, and to start out with the Optic, there is going to be a couple of different options. The Merlin Mini is going to be for close quarters and mid-range maps. If you'd like this, you could also use this other one. I don't know how to freak to say it, so you could use this one as well. And then finally, for long-range maps or Warzone, the Willis 3X is always my go-to. So these are going to be all my choices for you to use on these weapons. Getting straight over into the second attachment, it is going to be the Compensator. The Compensator is such a great attachment to put on most of these weapons because of the crazy recoil control you get out of this of 35% vertical recoil control and also 35% recoil gun kick. That is also going to help out this with the visual recoil quite a lot. This is a great second attachment. Third attachment here today is going to be the vertical foregrip. The vertical foregrip is another recoil control attachment that is absolutely amazing, and it's going to help the other side of the weapon, the horizontal recoil control of 40%. Now you have a great balance of horizontal and vertical recoil on this weapon. Fourth attachment here today is going to be the extended mags 2. The extended mags 2 is going to give you 50 rounds in the mag. You could also try out the extended mags 1 if you think extended mags 2 has too much ammo. This will give you 40 rounds, and you won't actually lose aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed with my magazine that you lose 7% and 11% of that. On the extended mags 1, you don't lose any of that. Our fifth attachment here today is going to be the recoil springs. Recoil springs is going to top off the recoil control on this thing, making it an absolute laser. You're going to get 10% across the board of recoil, gun kick, horizontal recoil control, and vertical recoil control. That was our first 5 attachments for our Model L. If you are a 5 attachment user, then that was for you. I am going to be making 5 attachment builds and 8 attachment builds on all of these weapons, so you have a best of both worlds if you like to use perk greed or if you like to use gunfighter, whatever it is. So here today we are going to get into our 6th attachment using gunfighter. Now you are going to have to put on, and here we got the reinforced barrel. The reinforced barrel is going to be a combination of gain twist and long barrel, as you know. And if we look into this, you are going to get 25% bullet velocity, making the gun a little bit easier to hit in the general direction of the enemy. You will also get a more longer range on this weapon, so your bullets don't drop off. 7th attachment here is going to be a rear grip, and the one that we are using today is the ergonomic grip. The ergonomic grip is a great choice for weapons you want to use to allow you to slide a lot faster. If you are a huge person on sliding, the ergonomic grip is going to be one of your favorites to go with today. Here, this is the one we are using because it gives you 50% slide to fire speed as well as 18% aim down sight speed, but it's a great combination for your handling. And then our final attachment on the Model L is going to be the balanced stock. The balanced stock is going to bring a number of things over in mobility. You're going to get a great 11% movement speed, 17% crouch movement speed, and 10% aim walking movement speed. It's going to be very good and make your movement feel even more fluid with the Model L. But now that we go over to the fire range and check this thing out, you can see our ADS speed is going to be very instant, so you can get into the gunfight very quickly. And that recoil control on the 10, 25, 50, and even the 100 meter is going to be very easy to use on this weapon. This is a great first choice. The second weapon that we're going to be getting into here today is the XM4. The XM4 is one of my most used guns in the game currently. I believe it is my #1 weapon of most kills that I have with. And the thing that we're going to start out with first is the Optic. Once again, the Merlin Mini is going to be for close to mid-range maps, and then also the Willis 3X for longer range as well as Warzone. The second attachment once again on this weapon is going to be the Compensator, and again the Compensator is going to give you 35% vertical recoil control and 31% recoil gun kick, so pretty similar to the Model L. This thing is going to be helping that out quite a lot. And then the same thing over on our third attachment, the vertical foregrip is what we're going to be using for the underbarrel, and this is going to also give you some crazy 40% again to horizontal recoil control and 6% recoil gun kick, balancing on both sides of the gun. For our fourth attachment today, it is going to be the balanced stock. The balanced stock once again is going to bring you a great amount of mobility. You're going to get 11% movement speed, 17% crouch movement speed, and 11% aim walking movement speed. And then our fifth attachment here today is going to be the recoil springs. The recoil springs is actually more beneficial on this weapon than the Model L, as it does give you 15% across the board of recoil gun kick, horizontal recoil control, and vertical recoil control instead of 10%. Also, this gun is very easy to use, so if you even want to put on the rapid fire attachment, this will make your recoil go up a little bit, but it's still pretty easy to control, and it's going to make your gun a lot more deadly. Now moving over to the gunfighter side of things, as we do have 5 attachments on, our 6th attachment once again is going to be reinforced barrel. The combination of long and gain twist barrel for this weapon is only going to give you 20% bullet velocity instead of 25%, but you're also going to get that longer range. For our magazine, there's actually more choices on this one than there was on the Model L. You could even use the extended mags 3 on this one, unlike the Model L. And if you'd like to use the extended mags 3, it is 100 rounds, but it's going to make your gun very heavy. I like to use a nice balance in the middle of extended mags 2 because this does give you 60 rounds in the mag. This is a great sweet spot, as it's going to make you lose some reload speed, 7% aim down sight speed, and 11% sprint to fire speed. Our final attachment on the XM4 is going to be the Commando grip. I put on the Commando grip to bring back some of that we just lost from the extended mags 2. you're going to get back 13% aim down sight speed and 19% sprint to fire speed. So it's pretty much going to be like you didn't even lose anything from that extended mag. Now we check this thing out in the fire range. You can see that the ADS speed is also very good like the Model L, and the recoil control on our XM4 is going to be very easy to use. I would say maybe even better than the Model L on taking out all 4 of these ranges. Our third weapon here today is going to be the AK-973, and depending on the range with this weapon, you can actually 1 burst people, but most of the time at much further ranges it will be 2 bursts, but it's still a very deadly combo and an absolute laser. Starting out with the optic here today, you can of course put this attachment on that once again I don't know how to say, but being a very deadly long range weapon, I do recommend the Willis 3X on this one. For our second attachment here today, we're not actually using the compensator, we are using the ported compensator. This is such a very deadly weapon that your first 3 shots usually can kill the person. If not, it's going to be the second burst that does, and this is going to give you recoil gun kick of 13% and 15% of vertical recoil control, so it's not as crazy as the compensator. But the really good thing about this is your first shot recoil control. That first shot is going to be so deadly on the enemy. For the third attachment here, I do have the extended mags 1 on because the 30 rounds just felt like it wasn't enough with this build, especially playing on long range when you're shooting a lot of bullets. 45 round was a very nice sweet spot, and this is going to only make your reload a little bit slower, and that's about it. You're not going to lose anything else on this. Moving over to the rear grip as our fourth attachment, we're going to be putting on the ergonomic grip. This is going to give you that 50% slide to fire speed and that 14% aim down sight speed, a very nice balance to your handle. Fifth attachment is going to be the rapid fire attachment. As you know, it did get nerfed pretty crazily because the rapid fire used to be absolutely insane on the AAK. It was literally the meta weapon to use, but now it only gives you 9% boost to your fire rate. It is going to make your recoil go up a little bit, but this thing is still an absolute beam despite that. Going back over to the barrel, we have the reinforced barrel on again on this weapon, and this is going to give 25% bullet velocity to this weapon and then the longer range. For our underbarrel, we do have the vertical foregrip to make this more of a beam. If you are going for the gunfighter side of things, you're going to get 35% horizontal recoil control and 4% recoil gun kick. And then finally here for our stock, we do have the balanced stock on to help out that mobility, making this gun feel even quicker and moving around the map much faster. You're going to get 13% movement speed, 20% crouch movement speed, and 11% aim walking movement speed. We check this one out in the fire range. This one's going to be a little bit slower than our last 2 weapons on the ADS, but it's still going to be very deadly. You're going to be able to take out the first one with 1 burst, the second one with 1 burst, and then after that point, the 50 meter can go down. Well, actually, it went down in 1 burst because I got him in the head there. So apparently you can actually 1 burst the 50 meter, but usually it's a 2 burst if you're not shooting them in the head. And then you can take out the 100 meter with 2 bursts. Our next weapon here today is actually a pretty simple one with the PP919. We have a 5 attachment build, and there's not really a lot of attachments to put on this that are important, so I just keep this as a 5 attachment build. Starting out with our first attachment, it is going to be the compensator. The compensator on this weapon in particular is very insane. You actually get 30% on your vertical recoil control and 20% on your horizontal recoil control, and then the 30% to recoil gun kick. Second attachment is going to be the reinforced barrel. Again, it is a combination of gain twist and long barrel. This one right here in particular is going to give you 30% bullet velocity, a little higher than our assault rifles, and you're going to get a longer range with this. Fourth attachment on our weapon here is going to be the CQB grip. The reason I'm using the CQB grip is because it gives you a crazy amount of sprint to fire speed of 22% and 53% slide to fire speed. With this SMG, I do tend to slide a lot more than I would with an assault rifle, so I wanted to go for one that has a lot of slide to fire speed, but also my sprinting I do a lot with this class is going to help out with this too. Fourth attachment is going to be the balanced stock. This is going to help out the mobility side of things. This weapon is already pretty quick when moving around, but this is just going to make you move around even faster, making it harder for your enemy to hit you with that 6% movement speed, 11% crouch movement speed, and 8% aim walking movement speed. And to top it off with our fifth attachment here, it is going to be the recoil springs. The recoil springs on this one gives you 10% recoil gun kick, 15% horizontal recoil control, and 10% vertical recoil control. And this one in the firing range is very easy to use. You're going to have a great ADS speed, mobility, all that good stuff, and you're going to be able to take out the 10, the 25, and the 50 with little to no problem. You see that there's honestly little to no visual recoil or any recoil at all on this weapon, to the point where you could even probably take out that 100 meter if you want to. This is insane for an SMG. The final weapon here today is going to be the AK-74, a very powerful assault rifle. And again, same options. You can put on the Merlin Mini for close quarters, or this one that I don't know how to say. And then long range is going to be the Willis 3X. Second attachment is going to be the compensator. The compensator on this one is going to give you 25% vertical recoil control and 24% recoil gun kick, helping out that vertical side of things. Moving over to the underbarrel, we're actually not using the vertical foregrip on this weapon. It's really not needed. The recoil control is still amazing without it, and you're going to get it anyways with the Ranger foregrip here, but it's just going to be cut in half a little bit with 13% horizontal recoil control. The good thing about this that it gets added on is going to be the mobility of 6% sprinting movement speed on this assault rifle. Our fourth attachment is going to be the extended mags 2. This is right in the middle of the 1 and the 3. It's a nice little sweet spot. You are going to get 50 rounds in the mag, which is more than enough on this weapon. But with that said, your reload is going to get slower. You're going to lose 7% aim down sight speed and 10% sprint to fifth attachment on this build is going to be the recoil springs. The recoil springs on this one actually only gives you 5%, so it's the littlest amount on all of these weapons. Across the board of recoil gun kit, horizontal recoil control, and vertical recoil control. Back over to our 6th attachment, you're going to have to throw on gunfighter if you want to keep continuing with this build. Again, we're going to be throwing on the reinforced barrel. I think I just put it on every single weapon today because it's just my favorite one to use. You are going to get 20% bullet velocity and that longer range. The rear grip on this one is going to be the commando grip. I put this on so I can actually get aim down sight speed back along with sprint to fire speed of 12 and 13%. And then finally here for our stock, it is going to be the balanced stock. Again, the balanced stock is going to make this gun feel a little lighter. You're going to get that 9% movement speed, 14% crouch movement speed, and 8% aim walking movement speed. If we check this thing out in the fire range, the ADS speed is going to be pretty crazy. You're going to get into those gunfights very fast. Recoil control, once again, on this build is going to be pretty amazing. You're going to be able to take out the 10, the 25, and the 50. It does have a little bit more recoil than the other assault rifles, but if needed, you should be able to take out the 100 meter as well. It's just going to be a little bit more effort. If you want to use anything on the screen for multiplayer, these are some of my go-to stuff, and I pretty much use this for every class. With that said, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.